associëtstap, als we elkaar mensen is het een goede vergadering. Dat gaat niet voor mij nodig wees om mensen stil te maken. Dat gaat niet voor mij nodig wees om elkaar te remind in termen van hoe ons met elkaar praat. Ik wil, als we bij de gelegenheid gaan komen waar u gaan praten, ga ik toch vragen dat als u opstaan, dat u niet zegt, dat is uw naam. Hierdie vergadering wordt ook live gezet. Is nou op YouTube, omdat daar is een verzoek van mensen in ons gemeenschappen, wat niet in wij van hulle is gestremd, dat niet toegang heeft om tot hier te komen. En ons het goed gedink om het te doen. Maar ons het niks weg te steken. Ons het ook, een van daar zie die YouTube is aan die achterkant, daar is, ik is nog niet bekend met die naam meneer. Dan wordt de videorecording genoemd, ik wil goede media in die vergadering, maar ook verzoek het om tegenwoordig te wees. So daar is van die grondrails, wat is net wat je gaan leerleggen. Ik wil dan gelegenheid geven voor die onderburgemeester, om dit voor ons die verwelkoming te doen. Hij is raadsheer Mario Wissels.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's a privilege to stand here today. I'd like to open by just saying and apologizing for our mayor, our executive mayor. He fell ill today and he was unable to attend, and therefore I'm standing in this place. Welcome here to this meeting. We have two hot topics, and that's why the hall is so full. We've heard the calls, we've heard the cries. The ministers are here to assist us, and we're looking forward to a positive and fruitful engagement with you as a community. We are talking about the Caribbean Bridge, and we are talking about the traffic problem that exists, and we're going to try and find solutions for those problems today. I hope that everybody will be in a good spirit and then work to a solution that will be acceptable for everybody going forward. Thank you, Speaker. That's all from us.
Baie dankie, Raadheer Wissels. Die flow van die vergadering gaan wees as volg. Ek gaan nou geleentheid gee vir raadslid Moelman. Die ken mos nie volg nie. Dit sê baie. Hy gaan vir ons net so 'n bietjie agtergrond gee. Kom ons vanaand hier is en waarvan verskil. So dit is net gepas en reg dat die wijkraadslid vir ons dan dit doen. Na die wijkraadslid gaan ons die twee ministers aan die voorstel. Gaan hulle personeel besoek in die ronde. Gaan ons die twee ministers aan die voorstel. En ons gaan sommer vir hulle geleentheid gee om ons toe te spreek. Dalk in hulle toespraak antwoord hulle dalk die vraag wat ek wil gevra het. Soos van die geleentheid skep. En as hulle klaar is, dan gaan ons begin met 'n ronde van vrae of iets wat dalk vir ons onduidelik is, of whatsoever. Even was nog nie hier na gesit nie. Ook ek. Ek moet nog auto ry. Ek was maandag laas by die huis. So ons gaan seker maak, ons bly binne die tyd. En ek wil tog vra dat as ons geleentheid kry om ons praat, stel die saak, en regheid. Kom ons gee geleentheid vir dit wat op die tafel is, waarna die onderburgemeester verwys het. Die munisipale saak kan ons nog later oor praat, dan nie. Ons gaan oor die munisipale saak later praat. Ek dink, dat is 'n groter saak wat ons moet oor praat. En dit is waarna die onderburgemeester verwys het. So ek geef vir Johan Moelman om met
Ik van de stoel. Dankie Speaker, ministers, sinners en minister McKenzie, baie welkom in ons midde. In wijk 7, Velddrif, en ook in my collega's Speaker, Swarts en Raadseer Westels, ons onderburgemeester, baie welkom is en hulle ook ons munisipale bestuurder, welkom ook hier en dan van ons provinsiale verkeersmense wat ook hier is om vir ons leiding te gee vanavond. Dit is my baie lekker vanavond iets by 'n volsaal te sien. Ek weet alle publieke vergaderings soos hierdie, as ons met die gemeenskap praat, dat ons kan gesels oor die goed en kan redeneer oor goed en kan by oplossings kan kom. Nou hierdie kwessie kort nadat ek raadslid ingetree het in 2000 en einde van 2021, nie 16 nog nie. Het hierdie al reeds op my tafel vroeg beland, die kwessie rondom die trokke. En die gemeenskap se voel hier rondom. Daar het nie 'n week verby gegaan in die laaste 2 jaar, waar daar nie ten minste 3 of 4 mense by my gekom het en gevra het, maar wat van die trokke, wat van dit? Maar kan ons nie dit doen nie? Kan ons nie dat doen nie? En dit het, ek wil vir vanavond verseker, dit het ook oor geval nie. Dit het konstante gesprek ontlok, dit is konstant onder ons raad, want die munisipaliteit is daar konstant gesprekke gevoer rondom die kwessie. En hoe mense dit kan oplos binne kan die wet, want ons kan ook nie maak wat ons wil nie. Daar's munisipale wette as provinsiale wet wat ons moet voldoen om by 'n oplossing uit te kom. En ek kan julle verseker vanaand, julle gaan ook hoor as die ministers praat, dat hulle reeds van baie van julle probleme weet. Jy hoef nie vanaand heeltemal jou saak te kom stel om gehoor te word nie. So ek wil sê vir julle almal vra ontspan. Dit is nie 'n beklei aan vanaand nie. Dit is 'n luister aan vanaand, dis 'n deel aan vanaand. As daar iets is wat jy voel wat belangrik is, as van julle wat nou onkomings met van die trokke gehad, en as van julle wat voel julle was sleg benadeel daardeur deur julle eiendomme, daar's van julle wat voel daar val op oor in die munisipaliteit doen niks aantrek en ek het so 'n paar keer verduidelik dat die munisipaliteit is nie kan nie jurisdiksie oor sekere paaie in ons dorp nie. 'n Provinsie het, maar 'n provinsie kan ook nie net doen wat hulle wil. Daar's wette wat hulle ook moet voldoen. Maar ek glo as ons vanaand hier uitstap, gaan ons met 'n moontlike oplossing op die tafel sit. Ons gaan nie met 'n finale oplossing sit nie, ons gaan met 'n moontlike oplossing sit en daadwerklike aksie soos van môre af. Nie soos van oor 2 paar maande af, van môre af, dat ons 'n verskil kan sien. Ek gaan nie op die mou uitlaat nie, ek gaan dit laat aan die sprekers, maar van my kant wil ek net weer van die gemeenskap die punte noem, wat gebeur het en hoekom die gemeenskap ongelukkig is oor die trokke in ons dorp. Nou, die trokke het met 'n rasseskrede toegeneem in ons dorp. En ons sien hoe ons infrastruktuur vertrap word, ons paaie verniel word, ons sypaadjies verniel word. Hoe nuwe roetes gevorm word in ons dorp in die trokke. Trokke wat parkeer waar hulle wil, parkeer voor ons klein besighede se deure, dat ons besighede kan besigheid en dit dra nie by tot ons infrastruktuur nie. Wetteloosheid van die trokke wat betref spoedbeheer, waar hulle ry wat maak, iedereen net waar hulle wil, en steek mekaar verby in die dorp in 'n hoë spoed. Daar is die persepsie in die gemeenskap dat die trokke oorlaai is. Die trokke vermy die hoofpaaie omdat hulle oorlaai is en wil hulle deur ons dorp ry en dit veroorsaak skade aan ons infrastruktuur. Dan die grootste ding wat ek dink maar van die wat by die naaste hart lê, is die veiligheid van ons mense. Bo alles van hierdie, ons kan spoed, ons kan paaie, ons kan alles, maar die veiligheid van ons gemeenskap is die hoofding. En dit sluit in Velddrif en Dwarskerksbos. Dwarskerksbos het ook, ek gaan lei op hieronder. Die trokke wat daar deur, daar's verskeie gesprekke al gevoer rondom dit. Rondom die hele aspekte van hoe kan ons Dwarskerksbos veiliger kry. En dan Velddrif self, die trokke ry verby 2 skole, hulle ry verby paaie waar ons kinders loop. Hulle ry by 'n moeilike oorgang, ons dorpse ingang is 'n moeilike oorgang, ons sal daar gaan nog gepraat word vanaand daaroor. Daar's die moontlikheid van groot ongelukke wat nog gebeur en dit nie een van ons wil 'n lewe verloor of 'n lewe sien verloor daar nie. En dis waar ons vanaand hier is om seker te maak dat almal verstaan waar dit gaan. En dat ons dan daai plan op die tafel kan sit en kyk of ons wat ons in die volgende week, 2 weke, 2 maande, 2 jaar, 5 jaar, 10 jaar in plek kan sit om ons dorp om te veilig en seker te maak ons dorp bly op die regte standaard. Want niemand van ons dorp sien vergaan. Die vergang wat ons in die res van die land sien en ons in die Weskaap sien nie. Maar die realiteit is, daar is 'n geweldige toename aan mense in die Weskaap. Meer kar op die pad, meer trok op die pad, en ons moet op 'n manier oplossing vind daarvoor. Wees goed met julle gemoed vanaand ook. Mense wil graag sekere antwoorde hê, maar jy gaan nie noodwendig al die antwoord kry wat jy wil hê nie. Maar luister na die antwoord op die tafel, kyk wat hulle dink, of dit 'n bedoenbare manier is om te van doen, en dan vat ons die pad vorentoe, en ons kom met voorstelle. Dit is nie die laaste vergadering wat ons gaan hou nie. Ek is bereid om gereeld met julle vergaderings te hou en terugvoer te gee ook van tyd tot tyd oor wat hier gesê is, wat moet geïmplementeer word. En as dan nuwe oplossings op die tafel moet kom, dan kom dit op die tafel. Maar vanaand begin ons met iets. En ons maak seker, daar's 'n plan op die tafel, nie net emosies nie net klipgooiery nie, maar 'n werklike plan om die pad vorentoe te vat. Het ek almal se inkoop op die idee? Baie dankie. Ministers, ek het baie briewe gestuur, baie e-posse gestuur. Hier is 'n groep in die gemeenskap wat 'n petisie opgestel het om duidelik te maak ons gemeenskap word gehoor. Ek wil vir almal dankie sê vir hulle bydrae. Ek het nie alleen alles gedoen nie, so is mense in die gemeenskap wat dit ook gedoen het. Maar ons het baie gekommunikeer, baie gekorrespondeer, en hier is ons vanaand, en baie dankie vir julle bereidwilligheid om hier voor ons gemeenskap te kom staan. Ek dink ek moeilike antwoorde te kom gee, maar ook maklike antwoorde, maar dankie vir julle bereidwilligheid en dankie dat julle die lande wat julle opneem en ons sien uit om te hoor wat julle vir ons wil deel.
Ons baie dankie vir raadslid Moelman. Hy was genaamd. Hy was genaamd. Ek het op 'n stadium vir hom gesê, Johan, die Porto ry die lorries nou al 100 jaar. Toe sê hy vir my, jy sal die impak verstaan in Velddrif nie. Toe sê ek, okay, ek gee toe. Hy was genaamd. Minister, hy was genaamd. Gister het ons 'n besoek gehad van die staande komitee oor infrastruktuur in die provinsie. En hulle het gekom om te praat oor die disaster wat ons getref het met die afgelope massiewe reënval wat ons gehad het. En die infrastruktuur wat beskadig was, ons het vir hulle gesê, waar is die raadslid? Ons wil nie nou met julle praat oor die reën wat daar verby is nie. Ons wil met julle praat oor die pad tussen Velddrif en Pakketberg. En ons was knaand, soveel so dat hulle maar moes vir ons luister. So, ons was knaand. Johan, baie dankie. Dankie vir dit wat jy doen, die gemeenskap. Dankie vir die oor wat jy is vir die mense in Velddrif. Ek dink julle moet vir Johan waardeer. Ek wil nou oorgaan om ons ministers die geleentheid te gee. Ons het 2 ministers in ons midde. En dit gebeur min dat 2 ministers gelyktydig 'n gemeenskap besoek. Ons het ook in ons midde die volle direksie van Velddrif, munisipale bestuurder en direkteur. En dan het die ministers het ook senior personeel van hulle kantore vanaand in hierdie vergadering. En dis nie vir ons moeite nie. Ons wil nie wees. Ek wil begin by minister Ricardo McKenzie. Dis die minister vir wie ons moet dankie sê dat die taxi geweld nie uitgebrei het tot hier nie. Dis die minister wat dag en nag by die taxi verenigings in die Weskaap gestry en beklei en ooreenkomste. Ons het die impak ons daarvan gesien op die TV. Ons het die impak van dit gesien op die dit was iets wat katastrofies vir die hele provinsie kon gewees het. Hy lyk nog moeg. Maar hy gaan maar vanaand nog. So dankie minister. Minister Ricardo is verantwoordelik vir mobility. Ons het so 'n formulier wat baie innoverend is, dan gee hy baie mooi naam om mobility. En mobility spreek tot die vervoer, transport, die traffic. En ek wil gou aanhaal wat minister eendag gesê het. My commitment to the people of our province is to get them to work and school safely and on time. Mobility must be enabling for job creation and economic growth. I also aim to foster a good working relationship with role players in the mobility sector. Ons het die hoofde hier van die verkeer, hulle As julle vanaand 'n boete wil afskryf, praat met my. Hulle is nie so nie. Dis van ons wat ons baie met groot spoed hierdie dorp gery het. En verby die lorry te kom, manne, skryf maar af net, asseblief. So dis Minister Mackenzie. En dan het ons ook in ons Minister Tertius Simmons. Hy is Ricardo Mackenzie en Minister Tertius Simmons. And he's the Minister for Infrastructure. Infrastruktuur, daai minister ry op die pad, hy bou die pad. Dis die twee, wat ons so na die het. En een ry op die pad, die een bou die pad. So ons het die regte mense hier vandag. Ons het die ander mense nie. Die minister sy missie in sy departement is as volg: to tirelessly pursue the delivery of infrastructure and transport services that are inclusive, safe, and technologically relevant, seeking to heal, skill, integrate, connect, link, and empower every citizen in the Western Cape, driven by passion, ethics, and a steadfast commitment to the environment and our people as our cornerstone. So, dat is ook een achtergrond van die ministers. So, ek wil begin, dan wil ek geleentheid gee vir Minister Mackenzie om vir ons toe te spreek. Minister.
Baie dankie. Goeienaand almal, en ek mag staan. Dis my opgees gestaan. Ek gaan nie lang praat, ek dink mense het al jare gewag vir oplossings. En daar's te veel probleme in ons land om nog 'n paar ure in vergaderings te sit. Wie was er in de aard geweest as ek mag vraag? Wie weet waar de aard is? Almal. Ek het in de aard groot geword. My pa het 37 jaar vir spoorweg gewerk. Ek was in Desember in de aard geweest. En as ek julle kan sê, dat is nie 'n stasie oor nie. Dit is wat wanbestuur en maladministrasie veroorsaak. Die rede hoekom ons so baie betrokke, vanoggend was ek in Albertina geweest, gisteraand was ons almal gister in Plettenberg Baai, vanoggend 8 uur op Albertina, en ons het direk hiernatoe gekom vir die vergadering. Daar's nog altyd 'n taxi-taakspan oomblik aan die gang in die Kaap, ek het op Bossag gekry, die kontrak is geteken, so ons gaan vanaand iets uitstuur. Maar die vergadering is baie belangrik, want Johannes het die laaste 3 maande al geplaai hieroor. En ek dink het is belangrik dat ons hier kan uitkom. Ek het hulle gesê, ek sal liever leer vanaand by Zoom die taakspan se kontrak met die taxi-eienaars teken met die mense van Velddrif wag vir ons 'n paar maande. So is baie belangrik vir my, want dit spreek wat in Albertina aangaan, dit spreek wat in De Aard aangaan, dit spreek wat in Plettenberg Baai aangaan, oor ons hele land. Daar is 570,000 mense in Bloemfontein. En ek kan vandag vir jou sê, seker 70% van hulle wil Kaap toe trek. Wat beteken dit? Dit beteken as ons wil 'n trok besigheid in Bloemfontein wil hê, beteken ons wil gaan 'n trok besigheid in die Kaap wil oopmaak. Ek kan nie vir ons wil nie terugsteer doen. Daar's 1400 huise op die oomblik in Albertina se staatsplan vanoggend het ons voorgelê wat gebou word. Beteken as 1400 karre wat in Albertina gaan begin ry van die dag.
Can you speak a bit of English?
Oh, sorry.
There's some of us who don't understand.
Oh, okay, I apologize. Okay. Sorry. I thought I was on the West Coast. Okay. Sorry, man. Okay, I'm not gonna start from the beginning. So basically, there's an increase of traffic. And the increase of traffic is not going to stop. That's the reality of that we all have to live in, and sadly, we have to accept. How do we change it? How do we manage it? And that's what we've been discussing the last few weeks, because it's not going to go away. I can't change the 1,400 people that we signed, that the municipality approved, building plans this morning in Stilbaai. I can't change them back to Bloemfontein. I can't change the 1,700 houses that's on the building plan of George Municipality. I can't change those people back to Pretoria. I can't change. Kiro is willing to pay for a school for 2,000 kids in George. Not the Western Cape government, Kiro, because the parents want a school. I can't chase those 4,000 people back to Johannesburg and Sandton. That's not how it works. Because they have businesses, they have trucking businesses, they have car businesses, they have construction firms, they create jobs. That is the reality that we're dealing with at the moment. Not because of any of us in this room. because of the collapse of other provinces. In Plettenberg Bay, 2 schools, at least 1 or 2 schools, 80% of the kids come from over the border in the Eastern Cape. That is the reality of what we're dealing with at the moment. So what does it mean? What do we do as the Western Cape government? We must enable it, because we can't chase people back. There's 4 new old age homes being built in Riversdale. Can't send those people back to Durban. There's going to be traffic. The children are going to come and visit them. The children are going to come, grandchildren are going to visit them from New Zealand. I must enable that. But the reality is the budget don't follow the people. That means if 1,000 people move to Velddrif, the equitable share in national government does not make provision for additional schools, additional 2 clinics, and additional road. That means between me and my colleagues, we have to find the money. That is the reality that we have to live in. And that is the reality that we as the Western Cape government have to make work. And I just want to give you that context as to what we are dealing with. But within that context, we have tried to come up with a solution over the last few days, and we hope that you will agree with us. There's a short-term solution, there's a medium-term solution, and there's a long-term solution. My colleagues will speak on the medium-term and long-term solution. I will speak on the short-term solution. The short-term solution is what we're going to start with tomorrow. Because Johan, like I said, has been sending me emails for a long time, and we said we can't postpone it, we can't wait, we have to start immediately. So my head of traffic is here. They met with the Velddrif traffic team. They're going to start tomorrow on the affected routes. For obvious reasons, I can't give you the exact operational details, but the equivalent fear that we've put, not fear is the wrong word, we need to call it, the equivalent law and order enablement that we've caused the minibus taxi industry to be angry at us, the equivalent actions my colleagues in provincial traffic and local municipality will start tomorrow. I can guarantee you it's great that you clap hands, because some of you won't like those actions as well. But we are a province of law and order, and it's going to apply to everyone. So if you do go out for a second drink, if you do go out for a second beer, that same actions that the trucks is going to face tomorrow, it's going to apply to you as well. So I strongly suggest, after 0000, if you drink in your house, stay in your house. I call it the JP Smith strategy. It worked in town, and it's going to work here. So from what you'll also see, we are going to take videos of it. We are going to take Facebook videos of it, and unless the court order us otherwise, your face, whoever will be taken on in those actions, roadblocks, sporadic operations, will be shown all over the media, because we want to make an example of a truck driver, of a truck owner, whether you're in Pretoria, in Namibia. If you own a truck and you disobey our rules, our laws in the Western Cape, there's going to be consequences. And with the appropriate technology that we have right now, and as the court has confirmed the order with the minibus taxi industry, got a bit of power in my hands to apply the laws efficiently and effectively until the Cape High Court order me otherwise. But you must be known, the same actions that's going to apply to the trucks is going to apply to you. So please beware. The traffic officers will have operations over the next 2 weeks with the local municipalities to ensure that we, I hate to use the word, but it's still the fear of you know what and who know what, who thinks that their trucks can be used and abused to abuse the people of Velddrif and Dwarsgesbos. Those that successful ones, and I do hope, I can't give instructions to my officers, it's against the law, we don't interfere. I do hope we catch them, because the information is that they are, the surveys, the emails is they are, We do hope we minimum catch at least 1 or 2, because those are the ones that need to be shown the most effective and hardest effect of the laws of our province that we can legally enabled by the courts. And those will be a deterrent for anyone that wants to use the roads again. So that is as an immediate action because it worked the last few weeks. So that's from my side. And my traffic team can't share the operational details for obvious reasons, but I can assure you, if it doesn't work, we will try again. But we're starting tomorrow. We're starting 0000, and coupled with the different municipalities and our guys, we will start with those operations and we'll enable it. But like I said, it will apply to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your name. Good evening. Luckily, I had my English solved this morning, so I'll be quite perfect in my English. First, the Speaker, Deputy Mayor, Ward Councillor, other councillors. I also see councillors from the district. All officials from the various spheres of government, including the district team, I also see here. Above all, the community of Ward 7, if I listen to the councillor correctly, and 6. Firstly, thank you for availing yourself for tonight's meeting. And like my colleague says, he drives up the road and my team and I, we actually own the roads. And so in that context that I will be outlining what our plan is moving forward, noting that your mayor has written more than one letter to my good office, and we did respond to the mayor formally less than a week ago with our proposal to move forward. And obviously prior to this meeting, a fourth possible request came through as another medium to long-term proposal so we can actually deal with the matter. But for you to understand why we are giving this proposal through to you and through to your municipality, I need to give you the context within which that is being done. Firstly, the Western Cape has a road network of over 32,000 kilometers. 7,291 kilometers of that is paved, or you call it tarred roads. These roads are at various stages. We do an annual assessment of all of our roads. And obviously, this road network excludes that which is within the municipal jurisdiction. Why do I say that? Because when we do our planning and we do our budgeting cycle, the roads budget is the only committed budget, which if we do a 3-year budget, it remains a 3-year budget. And prior to coming to this meeting, my colleague and I were also informed that the national government might be making some very drastic cuts to various portfolios, but what we could have committed to do in the Berg River area will be implemented over the next 3 years. So at least that's one surety that we can give you. When you hear the bad news of the TV very soon about budget cuts, please remember the roads budget is guaranteed for 3 years. So what are we going to do? We need to understand that when we responded to the mayor, it was keeping in mind, my colleague will do the short-term solution effective 0000 later on this evening. Now, our focus also is the short-term, but the medium to long-term. Medium to long-term is the tangible solutions, we believe, being well cognizant of the fiscal environment within which we, as a province, function, in which your municipality also functions, and your ward council in its IDP and budget, that you will be carrying out of Ward 6 and Ward 7, they will also accept that reality to which they are heading. So, what is our short-term solution? I'm going to start with the Carina's Bridge, which was one of the 4 topics which your mayor did inquire to me about. What is the current stance of it? When will we commence with our work on the Carina's Bridge now? The Carina's Bridge is a project which just the upgrading of the bridge. And when I say the upgrading of the bridge, it means the crossing of the R27 and R399 will form part of that upgrading process for us. Just the bridge component itself. As we speak, our technical drawings has been completed, and construction or the implementation phase of our project will commence in next financial year, which means next year, April, that's when my financial year starts, which means the upgrading of the Carina's Bridge and all that it entails will commence then. That is already just the bridge itself, estimated 160 million rand. that excludes the other work we are going to do as part of the Carina's Bridge upgrade. So for me, that is short term because that's literally in less than 6 months. You will be seeing the provincial contract that we are busy in the process of awarding the tender to. You will see them establish base camp. You will start feeling a bit uncomfortable because access control will be done by us to ensure that that project gets off the ground, that we finish in record time. The overall cost, we do believe, might be a lot more than 160 million. But like I said, my budget is the only budget which the 3-year budget will remain intact. So we will be shifting resources to ensure the Carina's Bridge and all that it entails doesn't. But then there's a second problem that the mayor brought to my attention. And he calls it, Road 529, which is the Voortrekker Road, that's near the police station. And he referred to Road 535, which is the road that goes through Dwarskeersbos. Both of those roads at the moment are proclaimed provincial roads, which means we cannot stop trucks from going there, we cannot stop any form of heavy vehicles utilizing that road because it is a provincial proclaimed road. And that is the first proposal that we have sent through to the office of the mayor, saying this is what we believe is the medium to long-term solution. The road ordinance and the road regulations that guide us differ from what can be implemented at local government level. Once a road is deproclaimed and it becomes a municipal road, then the rules of engagement totally changes. And your municipality has the right to determine the weight of vehicle that must use that road. They can determine the minimum speed that can utilize that road. And for us, that is the medium to long-term solution. So that's the first thing that we have proposed to the mayor. We are willing to deproclaim those 2 roads. They can become municipal roads, and obviously we deproclaim those 2 roads, and it's in the process of being transferred to the municipality. We will then ensure that when the road is officially a municipal road, the road surface and all that it entails is at an acceptable norm and standard. And that is the first solution that we have given to the mayor. The second one we have said, because that leaves Kerkstraat, we then want to proclaim that road as a provincial road, which means it will become part of our budget, given that that road does develop attention, and we will then use provincial funding to actually upgrade a provincial road within your jurisdiction. That is the 2 proposals that we have given through to the mayor, being well aware that for all of the solutions that I've had, that I've just put on the table, that is in writing to the mayor, there will need to be a public participation process in the affected wards, and you must be permitted time to give your inputs. But please bear in mind, this is done for the medium to long term, ensuring that some of the issues which my colleagues started touching on can actually be effectively addressed, and it doesn't need a lot of money to be reprioritized from our fiscal envelope. And then the 4th proposal, which was tabled tonight by your MM and your ward council, and I've given it a bit of thought because there's massive cost involved. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, because it needs to be taken to our technical team in terms of our roads branch in my department, and that is a weighbridge, but more towards the side of Saldanha Bay. And I've asked my team, what is the cost, just the capital cost, to actually build a new weighbridge, which means nobody's going to work there. It's just a building and the equipment. And it's an estimated 150 million rand that we will be requiring just to build the weighbridge. That excludes the operational cost of having staff to man the weighbridge. Obviously, that is a discussion that we will need to have, given the massive cost and the future cost of having a weighbridge. So I can't say yes, I can't say no this evening, but I do consider this within the reality of what's about to happen after my 3-year budget cycle ends. What happens then? Where will operational costs be carried from? And that's all that I need to give consideration into. So that is why this is our proposed way forward. As you can hear, the funding is there, solutions are there. And partly when we do deproclaim the 2 roads that we have indicated, we will ensure that the aspects of what happens at local government level is entailed in that road upgrade. Means when there must be sidewalks, we will do that. We are busy doing that in one of the roads within this district. And all our safety aspects. So
When we carry that road over to the municipality, after that, they will then be responsible for the municipality. We will ensure it's up to an acceptable standard for municipal usage. Thank you very much, Chief President.
Ons sê baie dankie vir die ministers. Hulle toesprake was baie insiggewend met tangible solutions to some of our problems that we do have. Now's the time for any questions. Can I make a rule that I first take 5 minutes here and then I take 5 minutes aside? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The lady will agree. This is the first part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can we start with the first one here?
Thank you, Chairman. I confess I like the idea of the proclamation of the roads from province to the municipality. In other words, the municipality can advocate, say who travels and who does not travel here. The tonnage, the weight, the speed. I like the idea. My only question of concern is, after you have transferred that provincial asset to the local authority, the municipality, who pays for the maintenance of that road? Or is there a guarantee within this transfer that there will, for an extended period of time, be an equivalent subsidy that will be transferred to the local authority for the maintenance of the road? Because road maintenance, I know from past history, is expensive, and that cannot be funded from the tax revenue of your residents. So I think that is something that needs to be attended and needs to be addressed. I like the idea, but like many things, there are many things I like that I have not gone before. Thank you very much. The second point is on the question, because you gentlemen are concerned with the mobility, and this is just an off-the-cuff appeal. Can we do something about the zebra crossing? It is on a provincial road in front of this building. This is an accident waiting to happen. And I'm sure there are many elderly people in this hall this evening that will confirm that they've nearly been run down by idiots that don't understand what a zebra crossing is. Thank you. James Watt.
James Watt. Second. Can we just for the mic? That's for the audio. There's people out there.
Perfect. I'm a simple-minded kind of person, so I'm just going to keep a simple question. So I listen to what's happening, what's being told. Our concern here is that there are a lot of peripherals that we're doing around the actual problem. The actual problem is this mining happening up on the coast here is destroying all the towns, and there's nothing being done by the mining, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of money involved, and even money to central government and provincial government, and so it appears that we're repairing the roads to even get the trucks to make it nicer and easier for them to come through, because I can pretty much see that this is not the solution to the problem. Is the trucks must move. There's a perfect road that's been built, that's millions of rands has been spent, that they can go around there, and I don't hear that as a solution. So why do these trucks have the right to come through the speed of light, destroying people's property, devaluing our property as well, and yet you're coming to spend more money to facilitate the trucks? I'm sorry, I'm just confused. I might be simple-minded, but that's how I see it.
Number 3. Number 3 is there. Right? Number 3 is there.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John De Silva. I'm from the Chamber of Commerce. Just have a look at this place.
I'll be one of the guys that will tend to want to be on social media for speeding or something. Okay. I like the idea of. Okay. I like the idea of the. I must be honest with you, weight bridges. I like the idea. It's not going to work. Because a weight bridge, if I've got a truck that's in the capacity of the right weight, it's not going to stop it from driving through our town. So a weight bridge, I don't think we should even consider wasting that money. That's my opinion. And coming back to a solution, one of another suggestions we've had, which I didn't hear tonight, was there were a couple of requests from the public whether or not we should build, where the railway track is, there's a little road there, could we not build that road to be a proper road for trucks to pass instead of going through our town? That's the difference between us and all the other towns. They don't drive through the town, but yeah, they have to drive through the town. Okay? And I think if we can do that, and then the last question I want to ask to our ministers is, we've heard this before. We are starting tomorrow, doing something tomorrow. We heard 4 months back, getting a stop street by the Karunas Bridge. We, myself, the ward council, spread it out, we were quite happy just for a stop street. Because that bridge alone is a bit of a nightmare crossing. There's like playing Kawasaki every morning, and it didn't happen. And that is short-term, cheap. You don't even need to lift the road, nothing. Just a line and 2 stop streets, and it's sorted. It will help short-term. And I ask you guys to please consider this. I mean, look at the outcome tonight. We've got a serious problem. We need to really give it some attention. Thank you.
Number 4 was there in the back. Number 4. There in the back. Oh, the lady with the green there. The lady with the green.
I am Janice Reader, and we live out of the plot. Unless I've missed it, the R399 has not been addressed. Our cornices are falling off. Our walls are cracked. The trucks, I have seen traffic control, speed control occasionally on our road. In the middle of the night, the trucks come through at 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. The road is full of potholes. Yes, the municipality are on it. The next day they're busy matching, patching. We look like Band-Aid down there. Yeah. Thank you.
Evening, my name is Paul here. Suggested, Mr. Minister. My name is Paul here. The suggestion, Mr. Minister, after 3 years of battling, moaning and groaning, eventually at the Atlantic sands and shores, there are signs as far as speed limits are concerned. When we spoke to law enforcement, they're telling us that the law cannot be enforced because the signs are not correct, which is beyond comprehension. Anders dan asseblief in mooi Afrikaans vra, maak die tekens reg. Dit help nie, ons doen 'n klomp goed en die wetgewing kan nie toegepas word nie as gevolg van verkeerde tekens. Baie dankie.
Yes, let's answer this 5 and then we go to the next one.
Thank you very much. I think it's Ms. Nodia for the trucks. Ms. Nodia, I can't remember the man that spoke. I'm actually almost going to say I want to dare one of those trucks to try from tomorrow onwards. Drive 100 in the 60 zone or 80 zone. Because that's exactly where we're going. I'm not supposed to say, but I think, seeing that you asked the question, that's exactly where we're going. So I almost want to say at the risk of damaging your ears, wanting them to do that, but you don't want to damage people. But if they do that, they're going to receive the operation that they hope they in. So that is one of the areas they're going, by the way. I hope my traffic guys don't mind me saying that. Then on the second point, sir, we actually did went to visit one of those mines. I was the chairperson of the committee before, and I went to visit one of those mines. And I can tell you, as somebody who loves the beach, it is heartbreaking what's happening behind there. The problem is, they apply directly to the Department of Minerals and Energy. Because we were asked from the community of Ebenezer to come and see it. And when I saw the trucks, luckily they don't drive on our roads here, they only drive there. But the size of the tire is probably this size. Now you can imagine the damage that truck does on a beach. The gentleman who was there from Australia or something was bragging to me, oh, it'll be fixed in the next 300 years. Like, what? He said, that's how we do it in Australia. You don't like real-time ability. In Australia, they get on 300 years, it'll be rehabilitated. And they apply directly to the Department of Minerals and Energy for those permits, for the mining licenses. And that is something that's in our national legislation that we're trying to find. My colleague, Minister Velddrif, our Provincial Minister of Environmental Affairs, has been trying to get a way to find the way to get so we can object to the application process. But that is the real, and there's big money, you're absolutely right. It's not the province, unfortunately. I wish we could get in those billions of rands. It goes directly to the fiscus, because the mining, the royalties they pay, obviously, as you know, to the National Department. And if I can tell you a story that will probably make you faint, when we did a higher application through my national colleagues there, we were told there are 63 applications in. 63 applications in. Now, if one mine, just to put in perspective, I think it's Tronos, an American mine, who's just outside Freedom down towards the coast there, employs 1,300 people. Imagine what 63 mines will do for that area. So that is the reality that we're fighting against. Every single day. People think sometimes we go to court because we're bored. We're not bored. We do it because we're not only trying to protect humanity, our lives, we do it because we're trying. You can never for the next 300 years use that part of the beach. Strandfontein, all the way to the Northern Cape. Never for the next, not one of us here will be alive. Our grandchildren will be alive. It is permanently destroyed. And he's bragging about it. They don't want to say it will be ready in the next 300 years. That is what we're up against every single day. People say, GA guys like going to court. But that's what we're fighting for. Because our grandchildren will never be able to experience that part of the Northern Cape, Western Cape. That is the reality of the matter. And we're trying, the way that my colleagues is here, you'll speak to is, how do we divert them in the immediate term? Because if we get this right, then whoever gets a mining application will have to follow that route and not come through your town. Because if we in this room and not get it right in the next 2-3 years, you're going to sit with another 5,000 trucks. So we have to get it right. All of us in this room have to agree on the process, get it right, and make sure that we get it right so those trucks stay on that route. And find a way through what we're busy still looking at, a way to legislate it or enforce it or penalize it, to say that you get off the N7, even if they use the N7, because the N7 won't be able to cope. If 10% of that mining application is approved, the N7 won't cope. I can tell you that. So there needs to be a legislative way in which you punish the mining companies. Not punish them for them to permanently go away, but as a punitive matter, if you put a truck on the road, this is the cost per kilometer. So none of us here to pay for it. So I think that's it.
Thank you very much, colleague. Mr. James Swart, indeed the devil is in the detail. What happens once you proclaim the road and it's officially municipal road, what happens after that? Because we will bring it up to a level of standard where it's suitable to the municipality and then it becomes their road. But you also need to understand that given, should the municipality accept our offer, we take one of your roads off your books, which will become a provincial road. It means for us actually do their budget planning cycle a bit better, the maintenance of the municipal roads better, then outlook into the future, the municipality can address that, because we will ensure that at least when we hand over the road, it will be of such a standard that for an X number of years, the road will actually not be needed to form part of the municipality's capital expenditure projection as part of the budget cycle. So ratepayers, I can say that is in the long term that will become a concern which the municipality need to address. But in the short term, should they opt to take that option which you have put on the table for them for the X number of years, they will not have that expense on their books actually. Because the road will be brought up to a very acceptable standard. And as an acceptable standard, if you compare any road in the Western Cape to any other province, you can actually compare our roads to world-class standards, which is the standard I'm talking about. Not just any type of standard before we hand it over to the municipality. Then the silver stop streets at the Pavilions Bridge, unfortunately, that is not possible. There are various road ordinances and proclamations which determine where one can be utilized to ensure or curb or some sort of traffic calming measure. And I know that this was brought up by your department, and that was also the response that we got. It's not doable. It's not doable. Unfortunately, and as much as my colleague enforces the road law, I also need to adhere by the same laws which I build the roads with. So unfortunately, highest budget over a 3-year cycle, so we are already investing heavily into this district. Given that your district is also earmarked as the green hydrogen corridor, which links the Western Cape and the Northern Cape, and in the future it will link us with Namibia. You know, we will need to find also a way, because we're going to develop new infrastructure along this corridor. We're going to put a massive burden on existing municipal infrastructure as well. That's part of our medium to long-term discussions as a provincial cabinet, and a massive component of that discussion rests within my portfolio, and we are having those discussions as we speak. I just need clarity from Mr. Paul Nadia about the wrong signage. Because I do need to tell you that if it's a provincial road, now I can pass the buck to my colleague at Mobility, they must just ensure that the signage is the correct ones, in the district municipality will put up the right signage. So I don't have to do a hospital pass to my colleague, but we just put up what we are asked to do. So I'll respond to all of your questions. In terms of R399, ma'am, look, many years ago, once again, my department spent a lot of money to upgrade that road, being well aware that when we do upgrading of roads, we take cognizance of the economic future of our province, and this corridor has been earmarked for economic expansion for quite a while, so we invested a lot of money on the R399. Obviously, I actually drove that road here, so I do have a fair idea what we are talking of. And the technical team and I will be sitting, because although it's not in my current envelope cycle, you know, you do maintenance and so forth, which is within our responsibility, which we delegate to the district municipality, who is our road agent across the province. In terms of the zebra crossing just across the road, I also saw yes. I will be engaging my colleague. Obviously, there was various reasons why the zebra crossing was considered the best option. Once again, the roads ordinances determine what we can do where, and should we opt to remove it, what do we replace it with, will be the logical question. And that is something I can't answer tonight, because I will need to engage my colleague and will need to engage the roads technical department as well, because they're the implementation of the law.
Wat was die tweede? Die tweede, dat ik het weer zeker maak. Die tweede hand was, wat was die tweede hand? Die derde hand was nou aan de achterkant. Die vierde en die vijfde was die voor. 4 en 5. Oké, is er plek voor 4? Laatst 4. Laatst 4 en dan gaan we hier aan dit, nee? In naam van het dat dan hebben ze maar begonnen.
Mijn naam is Jas. Ik ben Jans 2,5 jaar en ik heb bij de wc geleerd. En ik was ook in de weer van de plaatselijke visgebied. Als paar goed het met plan met vakanties. Eerstens die opgradering vir die Karinesbrug. As ons kyk na die uitleg van ons daar, dit maak glad nie voorsien. om hierdie hoeveelheid trokke te hanteer in die eerste plek. Die Karinesbrug was nooit ontwerp om so las te dra in die eerste plek. En as jy gaan kyk na die uitleg van die dorp, om hierdie las te kan dra, sal ons die ingangroete moet verander. Want ons kan nie hou soos wat dit is. Dit gaan nie werk, dit sal nooit werk. En as die las toeneem, gaan dit nog 'n groter geword zijn. Die paaie van Elandsbaai en Pakketberg, julle gradeer die paaie, en julle weet waarvan ek praat. Die gradering van die paaie is nie reg om die trokke en die las te kan dra in die eerste plek. Dit was nog nooit reg geweest. Die pad na Elandsbaai was 'n grondpad wat hulle geteer het, 'n dun laapie en vir hulle die 'n dikker laapie oorgesit. Hy is besig om te verkrim. En daar is paaie, as mens kyk na die trokbeweging, wat hulle kan gebruik om by hulle bestemming te kom, wat die gradering van die paaie reg is. Nou verwys hulle om paaie te herproklameer, wat ek nie meer saamstem. Dit gaan nie die probleem oplos. As julle kyk na die taxi-bedryf, baie mense moet registreer om sekere routes te ry en wat paaie hulle mag ry. Julle kan dieselfde prinsip gebruik vir die maatskappye wat hierdie vragte aanry, dat hulle permitte moet kry om daai spesifieke routes te ry en julle kan dan voorskryf watter routes hulle moet ry om by hulle bestemming te kom. En julle kan fooi daai verdien, want die ou moet aansoek doen. En julle kan op daai manier geld inbring. Dit wat nou bespreek word en 150 miljoen hiervoor en 150 miljoen vir 'n weegbrug, wat ek glad nie kan sien met 'n weegbrug, dieselfde kan kos as die opgradering van Karinesbrug. Dit maak glad nie vir my sin nie. En ek het so 'n bietjie tegniese agtergrond. Dit is my voorstel wat ek wil maak om die probleem op te los en sonder om maalkostes te spandeer en dit op die regte plek te spandeer. Om die voertuie te herkanaliseer met 'n permitstelsel, nie met wetgewing. As hy dit oorskry en hy het nie die regte permit vir die regte route nie, julle weet hoe dit hanteer, daar's groot goeie geld vir julle om te maak daai. Dankie.
Number 2. The weighbridge. What has happened to the mobile weighbridges? That mat they throw out on the road where they can move around from point to point. We were caught many times in their mobile weighbridges. We were taken from the mobile weighbridge all the way to Somersby West to create a proper weighbridge. That is cost peanuts into building a weighbridge. If you put the mobile weighbridge outside town, the trucks will not come through because they're running with 50 to 60 tons at a time. That owner of that truck will not let 30 tons go on his truck because it's not feasible for him. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ivan, sorry. I'm born in this town. I've grown here and I can see the change happening. So Ricardo, you're correct in saying that there's an influx of people and it's happening everywhere in the Western Cape. And that comes along with certain businesses and irritations that we're not really used to. But I can remember seeing you for the first time at the Africa Rail Conference, where you indicated on the integration of certain things within the current systems. And I believe that this issue won't go away. You guys had a short meeting. I think there wasn't enough time spent on certain actions, and I think the word that comes, or the phrase that comes to mind is, so we need to look at sustainable actions. A 3-year budget won't address it. People, they're changing in terms of their roles within their portfolios won't address this. So I think we need to spend more time on this. So we have an initial initial plan in terms of the law enforcement side. I would just ask that happen in a fair manner, where it doesn't inconvenience or abuse their type of power, right? Especially for the locals. Because I think we want to achieve a certain objective there, and let us just keep mind of that. The other thing in terms of the integration, or the other action, is the proclamation of the 2 roads basically to the municipality. We need to understand why it was a provincial road in the first place, and whether that will really address that action. Because in your other response, you're going to say that Church Street, you want to now move that to a provincial road, where we upgrade that and so forth. So that alternative, if legislation doesn't change, trucks will just move through that area again. So perhaps we need to just consider that and the impact. And if there is shortcomings, then perhaps be cautious of fixes that fail in future. Because it's going to cost us dearly, and then the persons that made certain decisions here would have long forgotten, and some may be saying that, remember that time when we had certain discussions, right? So what is the alternatives? Alternatives is to look into terms of integration, it turns into challenging legislation, turns into partnering with the mines, and that the route permits, perfect. We need to challenge that. And I think that's where we need to focus our energy, because it's not just the roads in town, it's also the access routes to and from this town, right? We, as this town, the community, we utilize those sections because there's a lot of traveling, and I think we can all basically witness that. So perhaps we need to distinguish that if we find alternative routes through the route permits type of site, or through partnering with the mines, because we need to understand what is their projections looking like in terms of volumes transported by road. How is that going to grow over the next few years? It's a good business to be. If you get somewhat capital to invest, buy a few trucks, and then your whole town will change here. So perhaps we need to distinguish also between the freight trucks that's getting fresh produce and supplies that is critical for this town and also other towns up north, and then perhaps between the mining products such as the trucks that carry heavy loads and heavy ore type of things. I think that thanks for the opportunity to be here and for the opportunity to have a say in this matter. I do think you guys need to schedule another few workshops where you find that with a focus of sustainable excellence. Thanks.
Angela Bossi, thank you. Just a question. There's a lot of talk about the bridge. I just want to know what's wrong with the bridge and if it's safe.
Thank you very much. The lady there at the back. Yes, you and then that guy, the last one.
Goeienaand, ek is Camille. Dit is wonderlik om julle te sien. Ek wil net twee goed vra. Ek is nie baie saam met wat Bjorn gesê het. Daar is nie 'n prys op 'n mens se lewe nie, dit weet ons. En dit is baie kommerwekkend vir ons wat teen hierdie roetes bly. En ek wil vra, hoe lank is korttermyn ingryping? Want dit kan nou 'n week wees of 2 weke en dan kom alles maar weer terug na normaal toe, wat ons op die oomblik frustreer. So hoe lank is korttermyn en dit gaan dit aanhou. Want iets wat ons ervaar wat op hierdie roetes bly, is dat as die padblokkade in die Kaap hier in die dorp is, dan ry die trokke nie verby nie. Dan parkeer hulle buite aan die dorp. Soos vandag was dit baie obvious dat hulle het geweet dis iets in die dorp aan die gang, want ons het hulle nie gehoor vannag nie, ook nie vanoggend nie. Hulle het eers hier by die namiddag begin ry. So dis maar net goed wat ons opmerk. En dan wil ek vra, daar word gesê dis afkeielik dat die deur ry, maar ons het hierdie pragtige gevoel lewe van ons hier langs die pad. Dis ons dorp se inkomste, deel daarvan, dis deel van ons dorp se mooi, dis deel van ons dorp wat mense trek hiernatoe, en ons wil graag die mense hê, maar die trokke jaag hulle weg, hulle jaag ons voorlewe weg. En gaan ons dit opoffer ter wille van 'n mynmaatskappy? Of wat is die oplossing hiervoor? En ons wil nie beklei daaroor, ons wil graag net hê, hoor ons harte en help ons asseblief.
Meneer die voorzitter, ek wil vir julle baie dankie sê vir die geleentheid. Ek is SP Trudeau, ek is voorzitter van Sandveld Landbouvereniging en Agri-Weskaap streeksbestuurder. Ek het vandag al die camera's se data getrek van die voertuie wat oor die brug, Karinusbrug loop. Ons sit op gemiddeld 27.000 voertuie per week vir die 34 weke van die jaar wat daar verby is. Ons afloop op 4.700 voertuie per dag. Ons sal aandag daaraan moet gee en ek vra vir julle ministers, asseblief, dankie dat julle is en dankie dat julle vir ons luister. Ek stem saam met meneer De Silva daarso om 'n stop vir 'n tydelike periode te proef. Dink ek gaan 'n goeie idee wees. Of julle dit nou wil weet of nie, Velddrif het ook spitsverkeer. So wat as hierdie mense werk toe gaan, ons het al gekry dat ons staan halfpad Serebos toe. Dis nou Kaapsaal. Ons staan halfpad Kaapsaal toe, staan voertuie. Hulle staan, daai swaar vragmotor staan op die brug. Ons moet die verkeer 'n bietjie laat loop. Die vinnigste manier om daai verkeer te laat loop is om 'n stopteken te sit in die hoofweg. So julle sal dit moet beproef. Nou wil ek net gaan, as 'n mens Velddrif uitry rigting Piketberg, dat julle asseblief aandag daaraan gee. Ek het dit vir 2 weke terug met ons DCP, saam met wetstoepassing en die polisie gehou. En as 'n mens Velddrif uitry Piketberg toe, ons sit met 100 meter waar daar nie lyne is nie, daar het grond oor die teepad gegaan, lorries verlê om die grond te ry, hulle ry in aankomende verkeer in. Daar gaan lelike ongelukke daar gebeur. Wil hê dat julle aandag daaraan gee, en ek wil vir Bergrivier munisipaliteit baie dankie sê. Die dag toe ek my gate optel binne die pad, dit was 2 WhatsApps, hulle het my dadelik teruggekontak en binne die volgende week was al die portals reggemaak, Piketberg se rigting. Mario en jou span, dankie daarvoor. Die laaste dingetje wat julle net vir ons duidelikheid kan gee, asseblief, Karinusbrug, gaan dit 'n splinternuwe brug wees, of gaan julle net reparasies aan hom doen om herstel?
Baie dankie.
Thank you. I think it was Bevan, right? The gentleman about the sustainability. Oh, sorry, Ivan. There is a sustainable solution. The solution is trains. We know it. There is a sustainable solution. And, you know, there's some more actions coming, but it's not for the meeting tonight. But we are fighting for devolution. There's a devolution infrastructure manager starting in October with Transnet. There is a document that my colleague in the city of Cape Town is challenging with the national minister. I've written to her again because of the taxi strike to say, please get the trains, give us an option to trial it at least. Because the reason the taxis is the taxis, because the trains are not working. The train, we drove from Plettenberg Bay, we came by Malmesbury, Swellendam, inland. The lines is there, but the trains is not there. My mother stays still in the R. She used to come to Cape Town with the train. For the last 3 years, the mainland passenger is not running. The Shosha mail has not been running for the last 3 years. That is the reality of the problem. So the sustainable solution at the rail conference, like I told the minister, is the trains. Let's get the trains running to get goods back on the trains. That is the problem. That is the long-term solution. But the reality is, that is a long-term fight that we're having. We are having that fight, but it's not going to be the next 6 months, the next 12 months. So we can't wait for the next 12 months. Said, auntie is complaining she can't go to sleep at night. What's going to happen tomorrow morning? What's going to happen in 3 months? The gentleman is concerned about the Karina's bridge that my colleague. So we can't wait for 6 months. We can't wait for 12 months while we still fight for the trains. Because the gentleman is going to sit from here to Lambersbaan traffic if you wait another year for the trains. So we can't wait for that. We have to come up with other solutions in the meantime. That possibly in 5 years' time, we're all going to say, yeah, why did we make that decision 5 years ago? But we can't sit and wait. Honestly, we cannot. Waiting is not an option. So that is why we have to try these options. And ma'am, on your question, they're doing an operation for the next 2 weeks. I'll tell you why. Because they're trying something different. Let's try what we see work in Cape Town. Let's try the integrated approach between them, the law enforcement, sporadic operations. Let's identify and advertise. Let Umbali Pretorians know we have taken your truck for X, Y, and Z reasons. And if your truck do it again, we'll use the law to keep it. Because we can't stop 50 trucks. I mean, I can tell you, doing scholar transport in just plain, 10 traffic officers. Then they must take a taxi. That means 5 traffic officers are now driving 5 taxis. We have to bring 20 officers to take 16 children's times, 5 taxis, 18 children to take them to different places. It is not a sustainable solution. So the best option is to make an example of whoever's truck it is that wakes you up at 2 o'clock. Like I said, I don't want to say it, but if they do it, there's going to be severe consequences. So the next guy who's coming from Lambersbaan will think twice of coming this way. That is the actions of the next 2 weeks, and we hope the sporadic and their operational plan is their plan. Then they're going to do it, will make an impact, and they're going to find out about it. Whoever owns that truck, whether it's Tronok's mine in Australia or BHP Bulletin, I'll send him a nice TikTok video to remind him, this is what we did with the truck in Saldanha. Send the next one, we'll do it again. So that is what we're going to do with them for the next 2 weeks. And then there was another question, I think that one is for you. The integration, the partners with the mines. We want to partner with the mines. I can tell you, we are standing, I was chairperson of a standing committee in Parliament. We had to force our way into a mine operating in the Western Cape. That's how arrogant some of them are. We got good lawyers, and luckily we got very good lawyers. And I'll come to your question now, you just responded to me, so the purpose. They're always available on our phones. And we had to force our way into a mine operating in our province. Can you believe it? Because our lawyer said that we'll take them to court today and we'll stop their operations. Then they're going to pull us. So to force our way in the mine. So they're very arrogant. They got the permit from the National Department of Mining, so they feel they're not accountable to us in the Western Cape. That is literally their mentality, and it's tough to get through. So I'm just going to respond to one of our guys on the permits. He says in terms of the NLTA and the Road Traffic Management Act, the trucks already pay more licenses than a taxi, for example. I'm not sure why. You asked the question, but then I got a second. I always ask 2 lawyers with opinions, they give you different opinions. Then I got a second opinion from somebody else who said it may be a little bit challenging, to be honest, but it's not doable. So I'll fight with them to see which one will win. So it's something that we can certainly look into. It's not a bad idea. The one said in terms of the NLTA, the NLTA is not possible. The other one said it's maybe a bit challenging, but it's possibly doable. So we'll look into it. Thank you.
Ricardo, unfortunately, I can't use TikTok because I just don't have it. So you won't TikTok either. In terms of Karina's bridge and Jasper and Angelo and Peter, though you asked about the bridge, firstly, it's the upgrading itself and the current condition of the bridge. I will answer all 3 of you at the same time. The condition of the road as it currently stands, it's safe to use. With the full understanding that once we do commence with building a new bridge, so we'll not be doing a patch job, we'll be doing a brand new bridge, utilizing obviously newer technologies, given that your bridge is as old as my mother, to be quite honest, I believe. So I do want to include you also tonight. The fact that you are waiting to be a brand new bridge, which means you can't use that specific bridge once we start building the new one. Please don't premium arguments and complain, because then you know at least what we are building will last another 70 years, like this bridge has lasted. And with the current technologies, believe me, it might even last longer than that. The upgrading of the bridge itself, like I said, it's We will commence early in the new year, the new financial year, which is April next year, perhaps a bit earlier. Given that the EMM did ask me earlier tonight, is it possible that we can actually bring it a bit forward? I'll just need to see where they are in the process. Please be aware that that will happen. Once again, I do need to reiterate, SP, you did mention or ask, shouldn't we try or test the stock? I did explain why we cannot do that, but what I will commit to is to go back to the technical team saying, if we can't use the stocks, what else is there that we can utilize in specific time periods? So once they give me a temporary solution, I will communicate that through to the MM and the team here. In terms of, I think I've answered all the questions. Okay, thank you.
Julle is nou my Anna. Ons gaan nou weer die eerste begin en dan die tweede, né? Oké, die zijn hand. Nummer 1, nummer 2, nummer 3. Nummer 3. Oké, dat is hier nummer 4, dit is nummer 4. Daar is nummer 5. Daar is nummer 1. Daar is nummer 2. Daar is, oké. Ik heb hem gedaan. Nummer 2.
I'd like you to consider this. Okay. The government and the regional government spend a lot of money upgrading that road, which not many people are using, except the bulldozers that can cut the Golden Gate. That road from Saldanha to Roggebaanweg is meant for these trucks. That's what it's meant for. You go from Roggebaanweg to Hopefield, very good road. I drive it 2-3 times a month. The only road needs slight upgrade is from Hopefield to Mauriceburg. If you upgrade that, N7 must be used. Not if, must be used in these trucks down here. I've looked at the distances. I think it's 15-20 kilometers different from Evansby to here using that route. So they've got no excuse not to come the long route, which is meant for them. The road is meant, it's been done, compacted correctly, it's meant for heavy traffic. Our roads are not. That's the first thing. The second thing is, short term, while we're doing that, it can be done quickly as well. The intersection at Cornelius Bridge from Piketberg. When the trucks turn in there, they take the opposite lane out as well. Now that, if you look at your ordinance, there's the infrastructure, your TMH 16, your RH 26. Okay, it tells you how to make these intersections. That intersection's angle is wrong. That's why the trucks can't make the turn. It can't be more than 10 degrees. That thing must be about much more than that. That is why the trucks are coming into our lane. However, if you look there, you remove one lamppost, and one lost sign, you can cut the whole corner back. And the trucks then have to dodge trucks coming over the bridge all the time. Thank you.
I would like to see an article of gratefulness in terms of people attending and the representatives of the Velddrif municipality who organised this evening. Firstly, time.
full story. In this hall are people that can bring you documents 10 years old containing the same complaints that we're going to address tomorrow. First, if I was a truck owner or a mine boss, I would have been very excited tonight. Because if I can last 2 weeks, then everything will be fine again. Because according to my knowledge, which was given by the provincial department, traffic department, they in any case don't have the human resources to maintain this kind of intervention. But in any case, for 2 weeks, if they can last for 2 weeks, they'll be back on track again. Then, I fail to understand by the proclamation whole exercise. If we move the responsibility from provincial to local, from local to provincial, what does it mean? What will the other level of authority then do to address this issue? And it's also going to take time. Let me just go to the section that the previous speakers spoke about. Apart from the fact that it's hazardous intervention or intersection from day one, if we pass the bridge right over, is that the R27? Yeah. Then we're going where? With the truck, which is then our provincial. I'm just asking, is there a plan? Or is this just another statement? Or some way to keep us positive? But anyway, thank you very much for the trouble you've taken. But I really don't know where we're going. So thank you. I'm unfortunately, or fortunately, not my boss. So I just take this grateful view that I've got good news. I don't want to be cynical. I just want to say this. Some of these things are really not practical, and I don't know where we're going. So for 2 weeks, human resources, and then what are the local government going to do with the new present for which they haven't budgeted before, and vice versa. I'm just wondering.
Geklaagd oor die swaar voertuie wat daar neergery het. En hulle het geklaag oor ongelukke wat plaasvind met lewensverliese. Daar het trokke busie afgery met kinders en waarvan die meeste van hulle oorlede is. Toe wil die provinsiale raad eers iets begin doen en wat die mense uitstuur so dat ons kyk wat ons gaan doen. Moet dit hier so by ons ook gebeur? Eers 'n ongeluk gebeur sodat daar werklik opgetree gaan word? Die tweede punt wat ek wil maak is dat vandag op die Ketberg afkom. 3 trokke ry agter mekaar. Die een probeer die ander een verbygaan. Dit werk ook nie so nie. En dan die derde punt wat ek wil hê. Is hoekom kan ons nie permanente kameras kry nie geel boksies wat vir die huis toe gaan nie. Hierdie dag al jaag is met hierdie dankie.
Minister, jy van de aarde van ek het van Prieskamp, so my airtime vir Engels is ook nou daar. Ek wil net gou hierso. Arne van Marwe, my vrou sê ek my naam het. Ek wil net gou vir julle lees in is manganese toxic to humans? Manganese toxicity can result in a permanent neurological disorder known as mechanism, with symptoms that include tremors, difficulty walking, and facial muscle spasms. These symptoms are often preceded by other lesser symptoms, including irritability, jy kan dit in die saal sien, aggressiveness, wat jy bietjie later gaan sien as jy dan en hallucinations. Ek wil net sê dat omtrent elke 8 minute ry daar 'n trok deur Dwarskerkbos. En dis waar ons bly. Die probleem van daai is, die trokke kom mooi netjies toe daar verby, maar wanneer hulle terugry, is daai trokke oop. Dan waai die wind al daai rooi stoffies in die hele wêreld deur. Ons het nou net gepraat van voeltjies op die brug en langs die rivier en al die rooi goedjies, maar daar's mense wat ook op dieselfde paai bly. So ons moet hierdie goed ook kyk, en dan stem ek natuurlik saam met baie van die sprekers om te sê, daar's treine, sit die goed by trein, daai pad is gebou, daar kom treine verby, 150, 115 trokke op beslag, maak hulle 200 of 300 as gebou maar goed te doen, en dan kan hulle nog steeds so goed na dieselfde plek te ry. En dan een van die ander sprekers hier by Arie en ek gevra, ek moet net sê van die brug, moenie 'n Aston-brug bou nie, bou net 'n brug wat kan werk vir ons Arie. Ons het nie 150 biljoen brug nodig nie, ons het een wat kan werk, indien ons daai rigting gaan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity. I always think that a disease has got a cause. Now, we are addressing the disease, but we're not looking at the cause. So, what I'm looking at a very practical way, which is a very short-term solution, or something to investigate at least, is most of these trucks come from Solomon. So that's what we know. Where it exits into the town, the origin of that route, we're not addressing at this meeting at the moment. We're talking about municipal roads becoming provincial roads, etc., but we're not looking at Elantvaya, and we're not looking at Piketberg at the moment. There is the roads, it's coming from the N7, which has got major infrastructure upgrades, which is costing the provincial fiscus a heck of a lot of money in infrastructure, which is not getting utilised. I've confirmed with many transport companies. It's not really in their benefit to overload, but that's not the point we'll be talking about. It's the amount of trucks that we're talking about. And secondly, we need to, how can I put this, look at how to channel the roads in a different way. If I look at 150 million rand a year for a weighbridge, 150 million rand a year for this, like the gentleman said, I have to agree with the gentleman over there, but obviously then we're going to affect another town, which we don't want. But obviously a certain town, we're not classified, I presume, as a commercial, industrial town. It's a fishing town, where there's towns on the west coast, on the N7, which is more up to the grade of a commercial implementation and infrastructure. So we need to look at the roads that's coming in from Piketberg onto this R399. There's your root cause, okay? And then also from Elandsbaai. I can't speak from that area because I don't live it on a day-to-day basis. I travel 20 kilometers between Piketberg and Velddrif. On that 20 kilometers, or 30 kilometers, that 20 minutes, I passed 32 trucks. 32 trucks. I had to explain to my son what's the difference between a municipal road and a provincial road. Now, he said to me, I didn't see the difference. Now that's exactly what we're talking here. We're just talking air. There's no plan here. To be honest with you, look at the cause, find an alternative route to direct them through other towns where the infrastructure can handle the load, which is purpose, with shoulders on the road, where a truck can pull over, where a car can come past safely. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Ek het nie baie wel betaal nie, maar ek kan probeer. Ek was 40 jaar in die Magaan bedryf. Ek was betrokke toe hierdie trokke begin ry het. Die enigste, ek dink, finale oplossing sal wees indien enigstens moontlik om die trokke in die dorp uit te kry. Ek dink, hier is nog van die verskeie mense wat van die moontlikheid gepraat het. Die pad om Hamesburg om, dan ry ek weet hier geen dorp nie. Ry aan die kant van Houtfield verby. Maar ek dink alle moontlikhede moet ondersoek word om die trokke uit die dorp uit te kry. Die pad byvoorbeeld tussen Katoe en Noordersel was het eerpad die myne te help om te keer, hy is nou weer 'n grondpad. Want hy was nie gebou vir hierdie trokke nie. Ek dink die gewig van die trokke is nie 'n baie groot probleem nie. In die sin van oorlaai nie. Meeste van die myne, eintlik al die myne, weet ek nie wat allemaal gaan voldoen nie, is veronderstel om weerstasies op die terrein te hê. Die trok mag nie van die terrein afgaan as hy oorgewig is. Dan wil ek net vinnig iets sê oor die veiligheid wat ek dink die belangrikste aspek is. My vrou die langs my was meer van die klinieke waar hulle hierdie drywers getoets het voor hulle op die myne kan gaan, hulle gesondheid en so. Ek dink ons hande saam sal ons weet hoeveel van die mense gebruik cannabis. Ook daar gaan. Baie groot deel van hulle. Hier sit ek nou seker vanaand ook eienaars van trokke en so aan. My ondervinding is dat die eienaars van die trokke voel niks. Meeste van hulle. Ek praat van erfstrokke. Hulle voel niks. Hulle sit in Johannesburg of by die see of waar ook al en hulle gee die om wat hulle trokdrywers doen nie. Ek dink Park Lounge het 'n opname gemaak van hoeveel eienaars van trokke weet nie wat die gesondheidstoestand van bedrywers is nie. En ek dink dit is iets wat ook moet na gekyk word, want ons nou sê, ons gaan op die kort termyn fokus. Maar nou ja, die kort termyn gaan ook nie baie help nie, maar dit is iets waarna die mense moet kyk. Die drywers is net veronderstel om 'n sekere hoeveelheid ure in 'n dag te ry. Ek dink nie dit word na gekyk nie, want hulle word, die meeste van hulle, kry 'n klein salaris en hulle word kommissie betaal op die tonne wat hulle ry. So hulle ry word omval. Ek het ons van hulle gekry by die myne wat ons afgetrek het van die pad af, wat so van die cannabis was, en self drank. Ek meen, daai persoon kan en mag net nie agter 'n serieel wees nie. So weer eens, ek dink daar moet dan gekyk word, hoe kan ons die strengste optrede teen die eienaars ook met die mense uitbuit in 'n groot mate. Die mense eet nie reg nie, daar's 'n onsaglike hoeveelheid van hierdie drywers wat diabetes het. En hy is eintlik nie veronderstel om sensitiewe goed te bestuur as jy diabetes het nie. Baie van hulle weet nie eers hulle het diabetes nie. Met ander woorde, hy kom nie in die dorp in, sy suiker val, hy raak bewusteloos agter die stuur. Dit het al gebeur en dit sal ook weer gebeur. So wat ek probeer sê is, as ons kyk na die veiligheid van die dorp, eerstens, haal die trokke in die dorp, en tweedens, kyk na die drywers ook, na hulle gesondheid, dan net van 'n derde en laaste ding wat ek wil sê is die omgewing. Ons nog eers begin praat baie oor die omgewing nie. Gaan kyk maar by Klaver met die brug. Hulle is oorgewig daar, nie baie nie, maar kilogram. Hulle gooi dit net af, gaan kyk hoeveel man gaan net op die pad. En een van die dae, die ander ding wat hulle doen is, hulle maak net die trok mooi skoon as hulle af, weet jy, in die hawe diep nie. Een van die dae, hier waar hulle nou parkeer, gaan ons begin sien die swart boomies lê. Want in die dag as niemand kyk nie, dan people om, want so hy moet skoon kyk vir die volgende vraag wat kom. Dankie.
Thank you very much. Can I start with the last comment on the gentleman with the weighbridges and the mines? Reminds me of one of the comments that one of the taxi owners made. They want to manage the taxi rank. Do you really want to trust the mines to give you the right information? You want to trust the taxi driver to tell you there's only 10 people in a taxi to investigate it yourself? The results of that we've seen is not good. So I know there are some mines with weighbridges, but I wouldn't trust that information 100% for the exact reason that you explained. You've answered that question, because to expect a mine to manage themselves and put a driver on there that's going to drive until he's dead or diabetic or something, whatever, I mean, it's not credible. So you have to do what we're going to try and do over the next 2 weeks, which brings me to the question that the lady has made, a very important point. We have to do something different than was done in the past, because it hasn't worked. That's why we're in this room, otherwise we wouldn't have been in this room. So I hope what they're going to try in the next 2 weeks is going to work. If it doesn't, then we'll change it. Then we have to try somewhere else. If in the next 2 weeks they have to report to me what was the outcomes of those 2 weeks, did we affect the owner in Australia or did we not affect his bottom line? Because that is ultimately what the whole fight was about the last 2 weeks in Cape Town. It was about owner's responsibility and driver's responsibility. My argument and my colleague JP Smith's argument has always been, if you give a taxi driver your keys to your taxi, it is your responsibility to make sure he's not diabetic, he's not drunk, he didn't smoke dacha this morning. That's the argument I always make in these meetings. Their argument is, by the time Ricardo picked up my taxi, he was sober. I don't know what I did the next hour. But it's your taxi. If I go to a restaurant and I get food poisoning, surely the owner must have responsibility. That was the whole debate around the last 3 weeks of the taxi strike. And that debate we've won, and we hope we can apply that same vicarious liability to the the truck owners, so they can feel the pain, not just the truck driver, but the owner of the truck. And hopefully that matter will bring consequences for them, and they'll change their behavior, because that's what we ultimately want to achieve. The point, and it also speaks about the operation, the traffic versus camera debate. In fact, we had that debate this morning in Albertina, and I'm just quickly going to give you numbers just to help that argument, because I also thought, what is the purpose of the camera? But, you know, why does the guy sit behind the camera wasting his time? It's a legal argument, actually, and the result speaks for itself. The camera issued 6,855 fines to the value of 7 million rand. The outstanding fines is 6,131 fines that must be written off, because you can't take it to court. To send you that letter, it's going to cost me the fine. It's a waste of time. That traffic officer sitting behind the camera from 8 to 4, 450 fines issued, 99% success rate. And he can get you in court, and he can charge you, and you can go to jail. The success rate is far higher than putting a camera as a deterrent. I also want to know. The numbers speaks for itself. So I was also of the argument, let's put in a 24-hour camera. But the numbers spoke for itself. That officer that we see from 8 to 4, that we all don't like, the success rate in prosecution, in driver behavior, and the results spoke. Death down by 30%, road fatality down by 23%. Consequence management, change behavior. That is what sold me this morning as well, because I always had that argument as well that you had. And I think there was one more question for me. Let's go back to the other question. Yes, you can ask about the weight pictures. The portable weight bridges. So the point that the gentleman raised about the entrance of the vehicles, where they come in there or come into the Northern Cape, the N1, the N2. You know, it's such an important point. Is, you know, then which truck do you divert? I mean, let's talk frankly. I don't know who owns it. There's a spa here in town. I presume you buy food, you eat. What do we tell the driver? How do we know you go to spa or you don't? The trucks, those things are self-evident, and one has to start managing those things. The manganese, like the gentleman made, those things will have to be managed, and we really hopefully in the next 2 weeks we can get, and I agree with the long-term plan that the man has said. How do the intermediate, the long-term plan, how do we change that behavior? You know, when we talked about free market economy, at which point or what truck driver do I send left or right? If the roads, to answer the question, like my colleague's got a better answer, but if you do change the road to municipal road from provincial road, the municipality will set the rules and conditions. Currently, it can't be done under that ordinance, but my colleague can speak better on that. So municipality will say 2-ton truck. Those are the things you normally see. 2 tons, 60 kilometers an hour. Those that the municipality will set, and that will help us in reducing that burden. But I just don't want to get into the argument about the truck comes, because who makes that determination? We believe in free market economy. And I think that is my last question. And then in the next 2 weeks, ma'am, let's see what comes out in the next 2 weeks. We will send you that report. I believe in transparency. We'll send you that report, and those were consequences. We must advertise it. We must say, if it's Ricardo McKenzie's truck from the R who drove 180 kilometers at 2 o'clock in the morning, 60 kilometers on, this is the actions we're going to take, then we must advertise it, so that he can feel the pinch. Not a poor truck driver that's driving until he falls apart. That has been what's the big problem in this country. No one feels the pinch. I said it in the taxi cars team as well. No one gets shaken up here. In this country, you commit the crime, you do whatever you want. Giuliani proved it. The judges in Italy in the 70s, in the mafia, proved it. They don't even knock on the gangsters' door every day. Sorry to say, but just for fun. They would shake them up. No one gets shaken up in this country. So the truck owner must be shaken up, man. Listen, meneer, ons jou droppevangers al dan, jy bly hier in Johannesburg, wat gaan aan met jou? That is what we need to do. That is what we are hopefully going to do. The owner must feel the pinch, not the guy driving the truck. And this is the next 2 weeks that audit will help us in identifying that problem.
Thank you, colleague Alida. You said you're from the Westland, right? Thank you. The mobile weighbridge, there are only 2 which we have in the province. Start there. The name says itself, mobile weighbridge is a temporary solution, not a permanent solution.
So you'll mostly see my colleague here through his road of officials normally use the mobile weight bridges over the festive season in what they define as problem areas during the festive season. So this might well be a temporary solution, but it's not a permanent solution. So I'll have answered your question regarding what the mobile weight bridge is. Then, in terms of Rina Brink, the proclamation, the rationale, my colleague here has actually started touching on that. The two roads which I mentioned are currently provincial roads, which means trucks will use them, any other form of vehicle will use them, because by definition they are meant for provincial usage. And what I'm gathering in this room is, you as a community actually want more say what happens on your road, which is currently a provincial road runs through your town. And by proclaiming that to the municipality, that shifts totally the ball game into your hands as a community. Now, I'll use one specific example of where a road was proclaimed and it's now in the municipal jurisdiction. And those of you that have been to Hermanus, you know that road went from provincial road to municipal road, certain work restrictions was enforced, certain speed limitations was put on that road, and a lot of the problems that community was stuck with for many, many years because of that proclamation totally faded away. Because the community had more say, your council had more say, ultimately that meant that they had more control, which is why we made the proposal of the proclamation, and it's in the local municipal jurisdiction. The enforcement component then falls to your local communities. And all the other examples, like you said, not a cameraman that clocks up at 4 o'clock, but you can even consider doing a permanent camera and so forth. Then it's totally within your ambit of jurisdiction. Then the last but not least, on the engineering specifications, well, I'm not an engineer, and now when you open up an engineering discussion, it can take another 2 hours. So what we will do is obviously, once you start seeing some of our designs coming up, now you will not get an Ashton Bridge, I can guarantee you that. You will ultimately have some form of say over how that bridge will do. Because everybody is going to be there for the next 7 to 100 years. So do partake when we do come and show you how it works. Thank you very much. Ik denk ons is redelijk aan trek. Ik wil de laatste 5. But it was 8. There's only 2 hands, and I'm going to allow the 2 hands, and then we're going to do the word of thanks by Johan. Ian was op, en dan die was aan.
Mijn naam is Velddrif. Ik wil Velddrif afstreek. Rustige dorp. 7, 8 jaar terug, mensen bij 6, 7 jaar terug, hier wonen ze ook in die oude deel van het dorp. De mensen vragen, zoek je Velddrif te zeggen? En ik zeg maar, soort. Dat is waar we gekomen. Als ik weer een rustige leven ga, dat is 2 goed van mij af weggevat. Allemaal in vandaan. Kijk, die dame wil haar niet aanspreken, maar die onlucht is zij spraak. En als Engels praat, tussen allemaal, toen praten ze allemaal Engels. Maar hier zijn jullie ook zo behoren, dus ik heb het gestaan. Dus ook bij je mannen, weet je wat jullie vandaag gezegd hebben. Wat ik voor iemand vraag is, hoekom is dit persrivier op die berg of een Velddrifse probleem hier? Hierdie probleem moet ons by die provinsie gegooi word. Sê, kry vir julle 'n ander pad waar julle vrachthouders gaan. Nou sit ons daarmee, dat vanoggend die munisipale werkers in die stil gehou, want laas week 'n groot gat toegemaak het met dier. Vanoggend was hy weer uitgetrek. Hulle weer gepak en hulle het met 'n bank weer gekom, maar hulle moet nou sien. munisipaliteit. Ek sê maar, dit mos nie julle werk nie. Dit is 'n provinsiale bank. Dit is 'n provinsie wat hierdie werk doen. Hier is nie een sypaadjie, niks. Hier sal net kan modelle aan Velddrif se dorp. Ons is ou mense, wat wil julle hê om te doen? Ons loop jy met jou hond langs die pad, steek die door ons in. So ek voel net, hierdie ding is nie 'n Velddrif probleem. Die provinsie moet iets aan doen, dit is so gauw. Hulle kyk hoe gauw hulle Velddrif gebou, na alle kant wat van daarna te gaan, Moresbo. Dit is 'n nou taak gedoen. Vir 3 lorries. En ek wil nie laat ren, dit is 3 lorries dat daar over die brug gebruik. En daar 2 of 3 verkeersbeamptes bestaan. En van die mense 'n brief, 'n versoekskrif gee. Gaan gee vir jou eienaar, jou baas, jou wat in sê baas, maar vir jou eienaar. Dat vraag, kan ons nie hierdie route gebruik nie? As 'n proef, ons vraag vir julle, ons is besig om die mense 'n Velddrif moord toe te ry.
Ek net klaar as ek luister, dat ons is besig om lorries te bestuur. Ons wil hulle glad nie hê nie. Die punt is wat gaan om die punt gaan terug te kry. Los op net soos hy daar is. Ek kan alles geld spaar, né? Dan gaan koop hulle 'n paar hektaar en ander kan brug. Op hierdie van mooi plat. En jy 400 trokke wat jy elke dag gaan stop. En elke ene kyk. Vir elke dingetje is sy veel reg. Is sy hoe lang dat julle gaan daai lorries hier ry? As daai trokke dag vir dag staan. En julle doen net julle job, is dat anders. Dit hoef nie jy sê doen nie altyd. Hulle moet net vinnig weet. As ek hier kom, gaan ek elke keer afbreek. Elke enkele trok, nie party, nie random. Ons soek nie die trokkie. Hierdie is 'n toerisme dorp. Ons is nie Kuruma nie, ons is nie Richards Bay ons. Ek dink ek kan doen. As ons nou net los. Ek weet nie van julle nie, maar julle al gery van Richards Bay op Velddrif. Liewe wag dat mense. Goed, ek dink nie dit gaan erger in Oekraïne as daar. Nee, ons fight vir ons dorp. En dit moet julle baie duidelik verstaan. Ons is nice mense, soos ons hier so sit. Maar daar is 'n punt wat gaan kom, en dat is enough. En ons doen nie, ons brand nie, ons doen nie, dit is ons ding. Maar wanneer, met volgende jaar is het verkiesing, dan wat? Sien te sê, julle is dit volgende jaar. Sorry to say, dit is feit. Ons soek die trokke nou weg. Nie ons
vreselijk ja. En hierdie dag nie. So as die minister ons al gesê het gaan van 1200 uur vandag af gebeur, gaan die verkeerskonstabels nou van vandag af werk. Want baie hulle trokke speed regtig aan die dag. Dis maar enkel is, dis maar net tot vooraf.
Ik zal niet de voorbeeld van de voorbeeld Herman Wellington en ook die was kerstmis. Dit wat ik net wil uitwijzen is dat ik die pad direct contact gemaakt met Perl. Kan ook is het van herinnering, maar hij voor mij zei hij is niet vanaf april wat nou voorbij is. Want het was kerstbos en vorentoe naar zo voorbij. Met 1,5 kilometer reeds uitgebreid. En ons padtekens staan aan die ou Waskersbos begin.
Toe sê hy vir my, where is Dwarskerspos? So toe ek dat hom verduidelik en hy het vir my gevra om van foto's neem en ek het op Google gepoint, ek het op alles gepinpoint en gestuur. En ek dink, ons eie munisipaliteit het ook, en ek het die nuwe bure wat ons sukkel om by die nuwe strate uit te kom, maar as jy draai, jy kan nie, die trokke kom 120 meer aan van Velddrif of uit Rinningsbaai se rigting. So nou is daar, maar dit is 2 maande, is al die padtekens vorentoe geskuif, maar dit keer nie trokke nie. So, ja, daai probleem, ons eie padingenieur weet nie waar is Dwarskerspos nie. Die tweede ding is die reeds, die kant tussen Ketberg en Velddrif, het ek spesifiek, ek rijd naweek op die bouw, soos hy sondaande later plaas toe. Sondaande is een traffic highway met trokke op en af. Een aand het ek nie die tyd my prijs afgesit, toe gooi die trokdrywer my met ek vermoed het was een blikkie, maar het was een soort koelskoot op my vooruit. Dit het ek reeds self ondervind. 3 trokke het al geval langs die pad, nie te ver uit Velddrif nie, die man gaan en nou nog daar. Niemand het het verwyder nie. So, die pad is gelig, nie oor te doen, daar is die aftrektrekjes vir 'n kar, wat nog te sê van 'n trok. So Bekendberg het ek baie mooi verkeersdepartement by die sirkel, 500 meter van die sirkel af. Oplossing lê daar, maklik. Kry Bekendberg verkeer om te staan, daar waar hy sy kamera altyd het. Om daar te staan en te keer dat die trokke oor die berg kom. Hulle moet reguit aangaan, Moreesburg toe. Daar is
That was the last one, and then we're going to give Johan, the ministers to respond, and Johan to close.
Thank you. Just to the lady here and the other lady's point, we are the only province in the country with a 24-hour traffic services. The Western Cape. Ons is die eerste provinsie in die land wat 'n 24/7 uur verkeer het. So weet nie of jy dit gesien het nie, maar dis seker so moontlik. Provincial traffic, no way. Oh, your local traffic, yeah, not my traffic, okay. Okay, so I don't want to speak more about the operations because there are other resources coming, but I can guarantee you there will be for the next 2 weeks. Special ops will be done. So that's all I can say. Because there was somebody in another town, but asked me, why is my traffic officer not doing this one? So that's where I leave it there. And I think Mr. Jager, sorry. Ik heb nog die naam vergeten, meneer sorry, ja, meneer Malang. Also, Stubels. Okay, yeah. I was at a conference in Botswana a few years ago, and the minister of Rwanda asked me the question that I still to this day don't have an answer to. She asked me, you're talking about gangsterism in Cape Town. We don't have gangsters in Rwanda. And I asked her, she said, what rights are you willing to give up to achieve the peace that we have in Rwanda? It's a question, it's a goeie vraag. So jy sê nou, ons moet, is by die trokke weg, wat die rechte is jy bereid om op te gee? Het is makkelijk om ander mense te sê, moet nie doen, gaan weg, wat die rechte is jy bereid? Nee, dit is een ernstige vraag, jy maak een ernstige staat. So iemand is een ernstige vraag. Wat die rechte, dat is ek my gevraagd. What rights are you willing to give up, Ricardo, Mackenzie, to achieve what we have achieved in Rwanda? You say you don't want a truck in a town. It's a small businessman, another businessman, another guy. You must ask yourself the same question. What rights are you willing to give up? We will manage this problem, and it's starting from tomorrow. As I said, we're the only province in this country with a 24-hour provincial traffic operation. I can't speak on behalf of my colleagues in Velddrif, but I know that they are doing joint operations, and we have to manage the problem, unfortunately. cannot chase away the trucks. I'm not the guy who's going to sit here and promise you the world. That's not the person I am. And I'm going to be honest with you. Trucks are not going to be gone tomorrow. But there has to be consequences for those that violate the law, that violate the rule of the law, that violate the spirit of the law. And those are the things that we all have. Because we are law-abiding citizens here. That's why we're all sitting here. None of us burn the building yet. So we have to apply in the same spirit that we do it. We have to appreciate it, we have to respect it, and we have to apply that law. That's how democracies function. So that is all my question. I don't give you a question.
Ja, baie dankie vir die Afrikaans praat, maar die Engels is pas op terug. Ja, eerst ek wil net sê baie dankie vir die insette. Het ons offer op die tafel gehoor as die departement van infrastruktuur. Die rationale achter die proclamatie gehoor, ek het meer as een keer vir my gevra. Maar ek dink iets wat ons allemaal mis. Soos wat die plaaslike overheid dan gaan oorweeg en hy gaan beheer oorvat van hy twee paaie. Afhangende hoe hy sy plaaslike ordonnansies dan struktureer, kan nie eintlik die trokke letterlik forceer in 'n rigting in. Jy het 'n sekere beperkte gewig lading toe te laat op daai pad. Dis die rasionaal ook wat u as 'n plaaslike owerheid na kyk, sodat wanneer die publieke deelnameproses begin, asseblief gee oorweging aan dit. Ek wil vir u baie dankie sê en anders as dit u gesien het in die verlede gehoor, u kan hoor ons kom met kort, medium en langtermyn oplossings. En hier is 'n provinsiale regering wat toegewyd is tot om oplossings te vind, selfs binne baie moeilike omstandighede. We are genuinely committed to find sustainable solutions under very difficult circumstances. But what I can tell you is that whatever your local authority chooses to do in terms of our offer, what we have done is in the best interest, we do believe, of the citizens of this municipality, of the two wards that are being affected. So thank you very much for your inputs and your questions. I have taken note of some of them, and I will take them back to my technical teams. But this generally also shows you as a community and your council that when we say as a provincial government that we are for you, tonight we are listening to you because we are really a government for all of you. Thank you.
Baie dankie ministers vir julle insig dat julle kom lewer en so aan. En vandag se lewe is dit nie spesifiek gewaarborg dat sê 'n minister nooi om te kom praat nie of hy gaan opdag nie. Ons ministers het gesê hulle kom, want ons het nie noodwendig genooi en gesê hulle gaan kom. Die eerste keer dat ek met minister Ricardo kontak maar sê vir ander Johan, ek moet Velddrif kom en ek gaan dit 'n punt maak om hier aan aandag te gee. En hy sê nou hier so en hy vir minister Tersius ook saamgebring. Baie dankie vir julle bereidwilligheid om hier te kom en saam te staan. Dit is 'n warm onderwerp hierdie. Ons het nie al die antwoorde vanaand nie. Dis 'n olifant. Hoe eet mens 'n olifant? Stukkie vir stukkie. En daar's baie dinge wat ons graag wil doen. En ek kan nou vir julle sê van die munisipaliteit se kant af, ook gaan met enige provinsiaal op. As daar baie van die goed wat nie genoem word, as ons dit kon gedoen het, ons het al gedoen. Dis nie as dit nie wil doen nie. Ek dink dat ons vanaand is om dit uitgaan, daar's nie, wil nie en ons kan nie. Ons gaan probeer maniere vind om hierdie probleem op te los. Ons hoor julle daar buite. Ek is raadslid, as ek in die strate loop en ek hoor van die trokke, dan wil ek altyd kyk my harde kop trek. Ek weet van die trokke. Ek probeer dit oplos. Daar is nie altyd 'n antwoord nie daar. Maar hierso is 'n begin. Hierso is 'n plan op die tafel. Daar's 2 weke wat nou voor lê wat ons gaan uitwys. Wat julle vir ons gesê het, wat gebeur hierso. Ons gaan dit nou sien op die pad. Oppas nie dat jy nie aan die verkeerde kant van die weg gevang word, want julle is nou vanaand gewaarsku. Want jy nou vanaand op Facebook of volgende week op Facebook en famous raak. Julle is gewaarsku dat ons daar gaan drastiese aksie geneem word, soos wat julle Kaapstad gesien het. Mense gaan daarvan hou altyd nie. Maar ons gaan vir julle die terugvoer kan gee van julle was reg met dit of julle was verkeerd met dit en ons kan so benader, ons kan so benader. Maar ons is eens met julle dat ons die probleem wil oplos. Dis nie dis nie wil oplos nie. Ons wil 'n oplossing vind daarvoor. Maar ons moet die regte oplossing vind binne die wet. En dis wat ons gaan probeer doen. En die proses is daar publieke deelname en ons gaan vir julle deelname van die proses. Die snelste ding wat jy ooit kan doen is om 'n besluit te neem sonder om julle in ag te neem. So daar gaan publieke deelname kom, ons gaan weer oor die goed praat. As die proklamasie gedeelte kom, gaan ons weer julle inset en vra. Wees betrokke, en ek sê elke keer as in 'n publieke vergadering wees, ons sit in 'n passiewe fase in beweging van politiek, wat ons nie betrokke wil raak nie, ons laat, kom net sy baadjies so. En dan sê wacht, 2 weke terug was daar die blomme gewees. Ons moet dan net wacht, hy saad op die grond val, dat die volgende jaar weer blomme, en vir ons jou sypaadjies kunt sny. Ek sê nie is al die sypaadjies nie, maar daar is seker goed wat die dynamika in ons dorp, wat ons moet engage, en ons moet seker maak, ons behou dit vir ons toekomst. Net soos ons dorp opbouw nou met trokke. Ek sê vir elkeen baie dankie vanaand, dankie vir my collega's van die raad, wat ook vanaand is, en provinciale verkeer, allemaal wat inset kom lewer het, is aan wat bereid is om te kon staan hiervoor, en probeer antwoorde gee. Baie dankie daarvoor, en dankie ook vir elkeen van julle se insette. Dit word nie ongesiens nie. Jou inset al, daar is nie net soos 'n dom antwoord, daar is nie net soos 'n dom voorstel nie. Ons moet elkeen toets, en miskien kom ons dalk net by die regte antwoord uit. Dankie weer eens vir provinsie. Raak ons dank ook oor aan die parlement van Velddrif se kant dat ons waardeer dit. Ons waardeer dat ons gehoor is. Ons waardeer dat ons gemeenskap voor geluister word. En ons waardeer dat julle die tyd uitgesit het. Waar julle eintlik nou in 'n konfrontasie is in waar julle daaglikse taak dat julle hier moet sit saam met ons om ons probleme ook aan te pak en ons gemeenskap se veiligheid op hoog die prys te stel. Baie dankie vir elkeen en reis veilig. Moet nie gaan drink nie.